right, so here's a quick overview of this TV. I gotta get this thing cleaned up. Lots of dust, debris, very dirty. Screen's got some minor scratches and such on it. Just pulled it out of storage. Scratches and scuffs. All right, XBR-43X830C to be specific. YouTube, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host TKK and we are back with another video, guys. Today is going to be an interesting upload. Not looking at a new TV, we're actually taking a look at my oldest television that's in my running collection right now, which I make a good general habit of like giving away TVs, especially the larger, more premium flagship ones, because I'm always buying new TVs at 1 to 2, maybe 3 panels a year. I end up giving some away, but this TV is actually got an interesting use case, so pulled it out of storage. I'm going to be actually taking you guys on a small little vlog journey today with how I'm going to be using this X830C TV, and I thought it'd be pretty interesting to be able to kind of speak about it. So as it stands, this is currently like the only LED TV that I own in my collection. I do have some LED monitors, you know, on the more premium side of things, but primarily when I buy TVs these days, it's going to be an OLED or a QD OLED. I just can't go back to an LED. However, I do have this TV in the use case. It's going to be primarily like for editing, also for like a Plex server. So, you know, we're going to kind of go through that. So after I roll the intro, we're going to take a look at the X830C from Sony. All right, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. So just kind of quick overview. This is the 77C1 OLED, right? Actually got me a dining room table now. So just kind of repurposing some things and getting the house a little bit more comfortable. Ate breakfast with my children on this morning of this recording, so that was pretty awesome. But right now we've got this set up, got a Mac Mini here, and a very small HP monitor. And I was just sitting thinking to myself, like, man, you know, I can increase this. I actually have another IKEA desk that's the same color, that's a little bit wider. So I figured, hey, man, let me get my Plex server in the house. And also let me utilize this older 4K TV instead of this older 1080p gaming monitor. This is a 22-inch HP monitor that does 144 hertz. So this will go back into storage and it'll just kind of be there. But nice little Apple area set up where I can charge my phone, charge my watch, charge my business phone, personal phone, batteries and such. So going to expand the desk by using the larger one and then get this thing utilized. And so as I was, you know, kind of coming up with the idea of using this, I said, man, you know, it might be some dope content to kind of just do a brief review of this TV. I mean, it's an LED TV and there's nothing too radical about this. When you think about the year of this was 2014. I mean, 4K at a consumer level wasn't really even there yet, right? Like 2014, this came out in like March, maybe April 2014. Got this TV and, you know, there wasn't really a lot of 4K content out there. I mean, you had the Netflix, you know, it is a smart TV. It does have Google. That's kind of something Sony adopted in the beginning, you know, from their infancy of making these smart TVs, and they've stuck with this. But at this time, their 1080p TVs were still really good. They still had some really good 1080p models. Yeah, so we got this thing. It's fully dirty, just like all kind of grit and grime everywhere. So I'm going to give this thing a nice detail clean, take it out to the patio, and, you know, we'll be right back. All right, this thing is all beautiful and clean. So let's just take a look at some of the port connectivity here. Port 2 actually is MHL. That technology does not exist anymore, not labeled, right? So specifically, if you had like the Samsung Note phone back in the day or something like that, you know, that would be the port you'd use to take advantage of that. And the audio return channel was port 4. They've kind of changed that up, but this thing is pretty loaded with different USB opportunities. You've got 3 USB ports there, 1 super speed. Yep. You go around to the back end of it. You can actually hook up some old school stuff. You got a set of RCAs, component and composite. You got optical there, Ethernet port. TV does feature Wi-Fi. And down here is going to be your knob control. So you've got a dedicated power button, channel buttons, source button, and everything else. So even though it's a small TV, it's pretty loaded, man. They don't make them like this no more. Another look at the code sticker that's on the back. That's pretty immaculate. So kind of cool here. Again, X830C 43 class. Yep. So nice there. Let's look at the power cord. Not soldered on, but there is a Phillips screw there. You take that out. You'd be able to kind of unplug that thing. I've had no issues with this TV. You know, we talk about in the previous transition, me saying how there wasn't a lot of Netflix content. Let me kind of show you guys what this is going to be partially used for outside of the Mac Mini. All right, so my patio's a mess right now. I did have some folks over. We did some grilling. That's a whole different conversation. But this is a dedicated server PC from Silverstone. Actually cleaning it out right now. I have 8 14 terabyte drives inside of this thing. So it is loaded to the max. I don't know if I have all 8 in here right now, but I think I do actually. But yeah, I think it's loaded to the max. So has a little key configuration here just to kind of make it so that, you know, the drives are locked in. It's got 2 120 millimeter fans taking air in for those drives. We've got a GPU in there, AMD Ryzen 5. It's a 5000 series with 32 gigs of RAM. Excuse me, 64 gigs of RAM. So this is my server. I don't need as much horsepower that's in there, but at one point in time, I thought about using this to edit videos and stuff too, but the Mac Mini just does such a great job. So just kind of giving you guys a little bit of behind the scene content. I got my cats out here right now. They're out here chilling. We got some cleaning to do, so some behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, getting this thing cleaned out. Just got done blowing it out, dusting all of that stuff, wiping it off. So gonna get in here, get this setup all managed. Setup is done. Let me take you on a brief little overview. My small little slice of paradise that is called a dining room. Nice table, a little bit of audio over to the corner. We got carpeting here. We got the C1. And now we have the X830C brought out of the vault. Quick look into what Plex is like. So this is Plex. We just kind of talked about in prior transition, the PC. So I've got that connected to it on one port. And then we've got a Mac Mini also, which is what I'm going to use to edit this video. My transitions are pretty basic, so it works. I digress. All of my content, TV shows is the column here. Got movie content, all of that, you know, here. And then pretty much from any of the smart TVs or any of my smartphones, if I'm happen to be traveling or something, I could just stream. So I don't have Netflix, I have Plex. I pretty much run this particular system on a wired connection in my home 24/7, and I stream from it like so. So we're gonna take this beautiful 77-inch LG C1, which we recently made content on. It had some image retention. This was junked out, so yeah, we kind of covered that content. I'll card that in. I think I make some interesting stuff from a different perspective on TV reviews. But let's pull up Plex on this. And here you have it, without me plugging any device in at all to the smart TV that's in front of us. This morning, as I was eating breakfast with my kids, we watched some of the OG Flash. My son was like, yeah, this is kind of boring, until he seen, he got his powers, and the scene where he walked the dog and then he ran in front of the dog. I don't know if you guys are up on this show or not, but yeah, so all the content is just there. It's just pretty much kind of like Netflix, same form factor. Audio is gonna play, go resume, and just loads up like so, you know? So I don't wanna play this, get any copyright strikes or anything, but yeah, that's how Plex works, man. Same thing goes for any other device. Same thing on the phone too. Yeah. All right. So I'm thinking you guys got a nice understanding of what Plex is. It's a nice feature and functionality to be able to take advantage of if you're into kind of cutting the cord and just outsourcing your own content, grabbing your own content. I'd encourage checking it out. They got some free content that's nice on there. As it stands, I'm subscribed to Disney Plus for the kids, but I pretty much like to compile my own stuff and just binge watch when I want to. And so it just works out good for me. But let's transition things to talking about the Sony X830C. This TV definitely, in my opinion, would classify itself as a bedroom TV. In this particular model, it came in two sizes. So you had the 43 and the 49. Similarly to how last year, the A90J, you had the 42 and the 48. They had two sizes for this one. So going beyond this model, when you went up to, you know, like the X850C that year, that was the A80K or the A80L of today. That was the LED TV that was available. That was 55 and higher, 55, 65, 75, 85, so forth. And so, yeah, this one was a pretty nice model. You know, one thing I will say that, you know, stood so firm in this year with Sony was just the quality of build. Even though you didn't get the best picture quality, this model does not have the full triluminous technology. That was something that they started really pushing at around that time frame. So this doesn't have the extra color space of HDR and so forth. Still was a decent model. The processor that's within the unit made it real snappy. Even turning it on today, it's like 9-year-old TV. Turning it on comes on pretty quick, nice and fluid. And then, you know, it does have the Google operating system. And so back in that time, you think 8-9 years ago, that's around when people start really picking up on Kodi and wanting to do things like that. So this TV opens you up to be able to do that, to do things like run some emulation right off of it. So it's pretty cool. You can hook a gamepad to it via Bluetooth. And I had a cool remote that I don't have anymore that allowed you to kind of use your thumb for like kind of gesture swiping. So you can like swipe your thumb left, right, up or down. And that would just kind of control the TV as well as have a voice functionality. Now, while didn't work on this, the same year having the X930C, that was a much, you know, premium unit that had like the speakers that were integrated onto it. And so from there, this was also year of LG's OLED 1080p, following year EG 9600, 9500, Samsung JS 9500, and so forth. So while this wasn't a pinnacle model, this kind of holds firm for how I buy TVs. Every few years, get a smaller one from Sony, kind of like last year with the 42 class A90K. You know, this was a pretty good model. And I used it with, I believe I had the ST5000 sound bar. It was a 7.1 bar. The subwoofer wasn't so good, but that unit ended up just failing on me. But I digress. This was a pretty good system, man. And I just wanted to bring this content to you. I thought this would be interesting to just kind of show you something old, kind of a brief overview / review of something that no one clearly is talking about these days, but you know, still a good TV. It's got some scuffs, scratches. I've cleaned it up. It's looking really nice. And now it's going to be home for my server, right? And for my Mac Mini, which has been phenomenal for me editing videos. I don't do a lot of fancy uploads or edits to my uploads. I'm just pretty much a point and shoot kind of guy. I know when to stop talking. I know when to start talking. And when I edit my videos on something like this, I can just bridge it all with a transition in between to fade it good. And it works. And this TV, I'm glad that I still have it because I'm not using a so expensive model that I'm not utilizing, but still something good of quality. In any event, this is in my dining room, and I want to know what you thought. Leave them in the comment section. Any thoughts, opinions? We're going to keep the content rolling. We're on the road to 10K. I just made a community post about that, but I'm going to catch you guys on the next video. Peace, God bless, and as I always say, max love.